Welcome back to In Business. Technology has been in the classroom since the 90s, but how is it progressing in today's world? It's been instrumental, as I mentioned, through the 90s, computers in the classroom. We have digital natives now that have grown up with nothing but technology to help them along with their education. Dennis Chu is the founder of LINX, a company that developed or brought technology to the classroom and is now focusing on bringing technology and education together. Dennis is a Stanford University student. He is a Canadian mathematics Olympian and has a passion for bringing education and technology together. Welcome, Dennis. Thanks for coming in.
Thanks for having me, Dave.
So help us understand what this technology is that you've developed, and why do you feel so passionate about getting it into the classroom?
Sure. Okay, so I guess I should start with what LINX really is. So what we do is we're an education startup that bridges the gap between industry and education. So historically, this gap has been one that has not been, this bridge has not been built. But there's been high demand from both sides to do so, right? And there are clear incentives to do that. I mean, teachers, the teachers that I've talked to, school boards, schools, even the ministry, they're always trying to find ways to bring more relevance to the curriculum and excite and engage students, right? And on the flip side, industries, they're just yearning to reach a demographic that, you know, are the future consumers and employees, right? But the problem is that despite this demand, what's happened is that there are various roadblocks that are preventing their partnership from happening, right? And so, you know, the government doesn't want, you know, just to appear to be allowing industries to come in and just blatantly advertise, right? So what we do, we think we found a solution, right, to bridge that gap. So to be able to bring the two sides together effectively and to build that bridge that hasn't really been built in 50 years. So.
Now, the technology and education, bringing it together, is it educating students in diverse areas, or is it your favorite area of math?
No. It's we're building a really diverse base right now. So for now, we're focusing on the STEM areas as well as English, just because of our team composition. So there's a team of 12 working with me together on this, right? And so we're targeting the STEM areas primarily for now, because that's where most of the industries are involved, right? So if you look at the companies, you know, right now we just recently partnered with General Motors Canada, right? And we're developing a project for high school students in collaboration with teachers on autonomous cars, right? So our pilot project, we're currently undergoing alpha testing. Our pilot project was based on this factory in Chicago that has a zero net carbon footprint and is a completely self-sustaining factory, right? So we're really targeting the new and exciting areas of growth in the tech world today, and we're trying to bring that into the classroom for students so that they see the relevance. And because we feel like in order for a student to truly learn and to truly be engaged, you have to be able to excite them first, right? And that's something that has been missing in our school system, and we want to bring that excitement into schools.
So for the audience, we'll let them know that STEM stands for Science, Technology, Engineering, and Mathematics. So how do you bring it, and you mentioned high school, is that the starting point? Is
Yes.
Secondary school, that's where the project will be brought in and launched?
Yes, so obviously everyone on the team just recently graduated from high school, right? And so, you know, you could say that we're inexperienced, but one of the best pieces of advice that I've received throughout this whole process is that inexperience is only a bad thing if you treat it as a bad thing, right? So a lot of times inexperience is what drives innovation, right? You don't know, you don't know better, so you just go around.
Why not? Why can't we do it? Because we don't know why we can't.
Exactly. Why can't we do it? And you know, I guess an even more important part of that is that we just went through the process, right? So we know what it feels like to be students going through that, right? And we can build that gap, bridge that gap better than adults can, and you know, because you know, we're willing to take, you know, the calculated risks that the government doesn't have the ability to. Right?
So bringing the technology into the classroom Exactly what is it? Is it a piece of software that's going to help
Right.
students learn about outside business, or give us the nuts and bolts of it?
So what it is it's a online platform, right? So it's an online platform, and what we do is we create projects for the high school level in collaboration with teachers and industry, and we bring those projects and we put them on the platform, right? And so what we envision in 2 to 3 years, the long-term plan is that any teacher from anywhere, in North America or beyond, right? Because the power of the internet is so expansive, any teacher looking for a project or looking to build a project, teachers with creative ideas, right? And they want to share those creative ideas, they can go on our platform and either take a project or create a project, right? And then that project. So what that allows us to do is democratize the education model, right? So for example, a teacher can post an innovative idea up there, right? And one of the biggest shortcomings right now in education is that teachers don't know if students will be excited by that project, right? So if they post an idea up there, students can vote on it, tell them which one's the best, right? And then once that's done, the teachers create the projects. And so a teacher with a great idea in, for example, the Halton District School Board appeal, they don't just benefit their school, right, their class, right? They can benefit, because of the internet, someone from miles, kilometers away, someone from another country even.
And would this be a collaborative effort where there would be a number of student groups that would be working on the same project, or would it be one student group from a particular school that would work on that project at a time?
So right now we're exploring both options. For now, we're making individual projects for students. So we're catering them to the curriculum because teachers have to, they have a tough time. They have to fulfill certain curriculum requirements, right? So we're trying to make that as easy as possible and as convenient as possible to use our platform, right? So for now, we're doing individual projects, but definitely, I mean, if you look at the future of education, right? A lot of, especially universities, are moving towards group-based thinking models and things like that, right? So we're definitely thinking of introducing some group-oriented activities shortly, where we do focus right now on our interdisciplinary aspects, right? So we believe that education being the foundation of our societies, right, need to be able to prepare our students to be able to tackle the most pressing challenges of the 21st century, right? And all of these challenges, whether it's global warming, whether it's the water problem, the energy crisis, all of these are interdisciplinary, right? You can't just go into one field or the other and just focus exclusively on that field and expect to solve a major world problem. So we're really focusing on making these projects expansive and interdisciplinary, and we're bringing in industries to actually make the direct link so that students feel like they're actually working on something that's real, right? Rather than having some projects that teachers give out could have been given out 5 years ago, right? Or 10 years ago, and we want to eliminate that, right? We want to make everything that we learn in schools relevant.
So you want to have current stuff going on rather than just recycling, changing the dates from a case study that happened 50 years ago.
Exactly, like Company A, Company B, right? Instead of Company A, Company B, General Motors or another company, right?
So you're naming the companies as well. Companies are loaning their name to these projects?
Yes.
Because that certainly is a big deal for students to know that they're working on something that's for a named company.
Exactly. For example, General Motors, right? So one of the I guess the most forward-thinking ideals in the automotive industry today are autonomous cars, right? Self-driving cars. So we're working on General Motors to develop an autonomous cars project, right? Based on autonomous cars, based on their current initiative in autonomous cars, and so that's what. Yeah.
Excellent. Well, I wish you luck with the project. It sounds very, very interesting. I'm sure that you've been thinking about how you're going to commercialize this and make some money at it eventually. Also, do you have a model for that, or is this still in the experimental stages?
Well, so we've been tinkering around with some potential models. We're not looking to monetize this ASAP, right? As soon as possible. But we are looking to. What we're trying to provide is build as much value as possible, right? If you look at a lot of the companies that, especially in the tech age, the Facebooks, the Twitters, right? They really just focus on creating a great user experience and providing a lot of value to their users, right? And the monetization will come for itself. So we're not really focusing on it, but we have a lot of we have thought long and hard about it.
Yeah.
And so it's something that's in the near future, but not immediately.
Well, keep us up to date on how you're progressing. It sounds like a fantastic thing. Thanks, Dennis, for coming